What is up, guys? Welcome to Monday night, and this is the Sports Sir Brad Walker. Welcome inside the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber, guys, is part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, it's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Hopefully, everyone out there, guys, is staying safe and watching the two Monday night games. I think the Redskins are closing out a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will no longer be undefeated after this week. And currently the Bills are playing the 49ers. As you can see, guys, it's gotten a little bit brighter. I did buy a light. I've had some people comment that it was kind of dark, so I brightened it up a little bit. Let me know how you guys think about that out there. But the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, guys, is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So, guys, welcome into my show again. Hopefully, again, everyone out there is staying safe with the coronavirus as the holidays are upon us, coming up upon us. So, very, very interesting, to say the least, on that. And, okay, there we go. For a second, I don't know what the heck happened there. Okay. Let me go ahead, guys, and start with something kind of off the wall, but it is for the Tampa Bay area. So, again, guys, if you are joining me for the first time, this is an all Florida sports podcast. I cover all the Florida teams, both college and pro, and I also like to cover the sporting events that take place here in Tampa. Right here in Florida, right, college. Here in Florida, like the Daytona 500, the race in car race in St. Petersburg. You know, there's other sporting events that happen here. And one of them, guys, is the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is coming here in February, or a couple months away. But I'm going to go back, guys, and they're ranking, because this will be the fifth time that the Super Bowl has been here in Tampa Bay, in Tampa, Florida, for that moment. If anyone out there is watching this, Tampa Bay is not a city, guys. That is actually a body of water, but we're known as the Tampa Bay area. There's counties involved in the Tampa Bay area. It is Tampa, Florida. And yes, the Tampa Bay Rays playing in St. Petersburg, Florida, for everyone out there that doesn't know that. But here are the ranking the first four Super Bowls that have taken place already. Again, number 5 is coming up in February. So again, this will be pretty much the ranking. Number 4 right now would have been Super Bowl 35, as that took place between the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants. If you guys remember this Super Bowl very, very well, it was a blowout by Baltimore, and it was former Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback Trent Dilfer leading the Ravens to a Super Bowl. Yes, you can go ahead and point that out, that it was mostly the defense and Ray Lewis, Ed Reed and company, Terrell Suggs, just to name a few guys out there that were all involved on that defense that helped the Ravens win. It's just interesting that Trent Dilfer was a Buccaneer quarterback, and he wins his one and only Super Bowl at Raymond James Stadium, where he used to be behind the center. So that's interesting on that. The game itself, however, was a dud, as I mentioned earlier. Super Bowl record, 20 punts and 396 yards in a Super Bowl low. The Ravens defense stalked its claim, being the best in league history, intercepting Kerry Collins times and holding the Giants just 152 total yards. The most dazzling sequence was 36 seconds late in the third quarter, as Ravens quarterback Dwayne Starks had a 49-yard pick six, followed immediately by Ron Dixon's 97-yard touchdown and kick return, followed by Jermaine Lewis's 84-yard return, giving Baltimore a 24-7 lead at the time. The halftime performers at that Super Bowl, guys, were Aerosmith, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly. Fun fact, Greg Gumbel, who did play-by-play for, yes, the Washington football team, did defeat the Steelers. Play-by-play became the first African-American to call a major sports championship on network TV. The next one will be number 3. That was Super Bowl 18 between, at the time, the Oakland Raiders and the Washington Redskins. Now, again, this is before Washington changed their name to the Washington Football Team. This was just like the first one, guys, a very lopsided score. The Raiders won 38-9. This took place on January 22nd, 1984. Not to make anyone out there feel old, I was only one at the time of that Super Bowl. In terms of a dramatic effect, this was the first Super Bowl staged in Tampa. It did fizzle. Washington 14-2. They were the reigning defending champions and scored then the NFL record. They had 541 points in that season and appeared destined for the Destiny's status, obviously. Only the Raiders' advantage. Al Davis assembled a cutoffs. Jim Plunkett was the quarterback. The epic showdown, however, never materialized. The Raiders held Joe Gibbs' team to 3 first-half points, taking a 21-3 lead at halftime on Jack Squirrel's 5-yard interception return of Joe Theismann's screen pass 7 seconds before intermission. So just like the first one, guys, a very, very lopsided one. This, guys, if you remember, if you guys ever watched the NFL's throwback of the Super Bowls, the halftime shows were all bands. This one was University of Florida and FSU's marching bands. That's Florida and Florida State. Guys, if you're just watching my show, the Gators play in Gainesville, Florida. FSU, Florida State University, plays in Tallahassee, which is the capital of the state that I've lived in all my life. But they were the ones who played the halftime show. Jim Plunkett won the 1970 Heisman Trophy, and Joe Theismann was the runner-up, so the two were playing against each other. The next one, guys, would be, of course, Super Bowl 43, and that was between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Arizona Cardinals. This one, guys, I happened to watch at a friend's house, and this was one of the more entertaining games that were played here. That took place, guys, February 1st in 2009. In terms of sheer on-field exhilaration, this was firmly embedded in the greatest Super Bowl argument. The Steelers appeared on their way to an NFL record 6th world title before the game segged into an ebb and flow spectacle. Outspoken Steelers linebacker James Harrison gave the Steelers a 17-7 lead when he intercepted Kurt Warner's throw in his own end zone and turned 100 yards on the final play of the first half. Again, that was one of the most exciting plays. The Steelers' lead would increase to 27 before Arizona scored 6 unanswered points. The Cardinals took a 23-20 lead with 2:37 left, with one of the greatest plays when Kurt Warner found Larry Fitzgerald, who in the game had 7 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And again, that was a 64-yard score, but that was too much time as Ben Roethlisberger drove down and found Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone for a 6-yard winning touchdown. At that time, guys, the halftime performers were Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And that was, again, interesting to say. That was one, again, a lot of people consider that one of the best Super Bowls that's ever occurred, and it happened here at Raymond James Stadium in February of 2009. So, again, guys, that was 11 years ago was the last Super Bowl that was here. And, of course, number one, I did also watch this one. The only one that I did not watch in person, guys, was the Raiders and Redskins. Again, I was only a year old when that Super Bowl went down. This one I remember very, very well. Super Bowl 25, the New York Giants and the Buffalo Bills. This was the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl number 1 of 4 that they lost in a row. This was a final of 20-19. I think everyone knows the results of what happened in the game. A back and forth type situation between Jim Kelly and, you had Phil Simms, who was out of the game. Actually, it was on the it was the backup quarterback himself. Jeff Hostetler was the one who led the Giants to a Super Bowl win as they drove down with 2:16 left. Drove to 29 where Scott Norwood lined up what would have been a 47-yard try with 8 seconds left to play. 30 years later, it remains the most famous wide right field goal in NFL history as he kicked and missed it. When he missed it, that is when the New York Giants won by 1 point by a final of 20-19. Again, the halftime performance at the time, guys, were New Kids on the Block and the Disney characters. This was the first Super Bowl in which neither team committed a turnover. So there were no turnovers in that Super Bowl. But amazingly enough, that was a very interesting Super Bowl. It was very, very heartfelt for all the Buffalo Bills fans because, again, that was the first of 4 in a row that they lost. They lost to the Giants, they lost to the Cowboys twice, and they lost to the Washington Redskins. Again, guys, I'm not being politically incorrect here because when these times happens, they were called the Washington Redskins. I know we're not supposed to call them anymore. That's politically incorrect. Now they're called the Washington Football Team. But at the time, they were known as the Washington Redskins, so that was what we called them. So I thought I'd do that, bring up a little bit that as we get closer, guys, to the Super Bowl happening here at Raymond James Stadium again in Tampa, those were the 4 previous Super Bowl games. So I would agree with the rankings on that because the first 2 on the list, the 3 and 4, were both blowouts, and the first 2 on the list, 1 and 2. I mean, it depends on how you want to rank them. You could rank the Steelers Cardinals number 1 and the Bills Giants number 2 if you wanted to do it that way. That's up to you how you would portray that. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I thought the Giants, that was one of those nail-biting Super Bowls. I know the Steelers and Cardinals was also a nail-biter, but coming down to a field goal and your kicker misses it, 8 seconds left, and what we did not know at the time is that would write the history of the Bills losing 3 straight Super Bowls after that, losing 4 in a row. Being the only other team that has lost 4 Super Bowls would be the Minnesota Vikings. So those are the only 2 teams, guys, that have been in the Super Bowl 4 times and have never won one and lost it also 4 times. I haven't had any news, guys, on the Tampa Bay Rowdies the last couple of weeks. Well, now I do have some news coming up, and it's going to be their championship celebrations because, like I said earlier, both the Rays and Rowdies Rays won the American League Championship, were in the World Series, and then, of course, lost to the Dodgers in 6 games. And then the Rowdies won the east side of the U.S., their soccer league, and they did not get to play in the championship game. Well, the celebrations began on December 3rd. I know today is, what is today's date here? Sorry, guys. Hang on just a second. Today's the 7th, so this started 4 days ago. The Rowdies and Rays will celebrate their championship with a series of road trips starting around the area. The tour will lead off at the St. Pete Pier from 5 to 9 p.m., and that was last Thursday, with special appearances by Rowdies head coach Neil Collins and Rays World Series Game 4 hero Brett Phillips. Other appearances are planned between now and December 31st at Terra Verde, Tampa, Dade City, and Wesley Chapel. They do have a full schedule if you want to see. Fans will be able to take photos of Rays American League Championship trophy and the Rowdies Eastern Conference Championship trophy at the Petco Park chair that caught Mike Brosso's series-winning home run against the Yankees in the American League Division Series. There will also be a chance to shop for exclusive merchandise for both teams. So for all my Rowdies and Rays fans that are out there, get out there and do that. Go out there and hang out there and see that. I think that's pretty cool that they're doing that because, again, it gives the fans a chance. Now, obviously, it would be a lot different. Guys, if COVID wasn't going on, there probably would be a lot more fan interaction with the trophy and the players. But, again, guys, it's a completely different year now, and there are things that get taken away, and that's one of the things that get taken away is the fact that we just don't have. We don't have that fan interaction as much anymore because of COVID, so we can't do that. Hopefully, guys, within the next, few months, we'll have, everything get back to semi-normal where we can get back to going to sporting events in large groups and stuff like that. I don't really know, honestly, if there will be any full attendance at all at any sporting event in 2021 either. I think it'll be limited again until everything is, settles down. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we cross our fingers. Maybe sometime in the, maybe summer or fall of next year, we can have 50%. That would be interesting as the football season starts next year. I'm going to go ahead, guys, now and jump into NBA. And now, guys, we have a team that is coming down from Toronto to play here. The Toronto Raptors are playing in Tampa. So, guys, I'm going to be talking about the Raptors as their season comes into play. So I'm going to be covering 3 basketball teams on this. Like I said, now I cover everything that happens in Florida. The Raptors are coming down to play basketball in Tampa because of the Canadian government closing the border, not allowing the team to leave or allowing an American team to come here because America has numbers of COVID-19 cases are back on the rise again. So Canada has shut the border. So the Raptors have come down here. They're the only Canadian franchise in the NBA, so they have come to Tampa to play. Well, where do they do their warm-up and practice? That would be at St. Leo University, about 35 miles north of downtown Tampa. Now, that does not provide a hint that a professional basketball team that won its league championship less than 2 years ago chose the campus to tip off its preseason practice. But it did. Now, they came down here. It's a 160-acre campus located. You can go past it. I've actually been nearby it, guys, down there. I've been by it before. I played golf nearby. And it's interesting to see that it is a Catholic institution of higher learning in Florida. It has facilities that are nothing short of first class. The Raptors, again, will not be able to play in Canada due to the country pandemics related thing. So they announced on November 20th that the team was moving to Tampa to play at Amalie Arena. That is also home of the defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning that also play there. So they will be playing in that arena. So again, like I said, the coach, the men's coach, Lance Randall, was one of the pivotal things of getting in talks with head coach Nick Nurse of the Raptors to bring the team to St. Leo to do their preseason and their practice facility. So again, guys, that's pretty cool that they've already set up shop here to get everything ready to go for what is going on. It's pretty darn cool that we have this going on. But they are down here in Tampa to play basketball. So again, with Miami and Orlando both being in the state, you will have 3 basketball teams for at least the first half of the NBA season down here. Again, things could change later on, and Canada opens the border back up, and Toronto can return home to Toronto. But as of right now, the tip-off will begin for the National Basketball Association on Wednesday, December 23rd. And mark that down on your calendars, guys. We are just 16 short days away. That is 2 days prior to Christmas Day. But that is going to be interesting. And by the way, the Raptors will be hosting a game here on that day against Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans coming down here. This marks the 11th time in the past 12 seasons and the 20th time in team history the Raptors have started their regular season at home. Toronto's road debut is set for Friday, December 26th, as they head to San Antonio to play the Spurs. The longest homestand, guys, the Raptors will be here. Will be 5 games from January 14th to the 22nd. The longest road trip will be 6 games, and that will be from February 2nd to February 12th. The Raptors will have 5 back-to-back sets, with 4 of those being road games, followed by another road game. So the first half, let me go ahead, guys, and give you what their schedule is going to be. The Atlantic Division, they have the Boston Celtics. They are 1-4, 2-12, 3-4. Brooklyn, they're 2-5. New York, that's the Knicks. Philadelphia, that's the 76ers. Central Division will be Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, Milwaukee. Southeast Division will be Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami, Orlando, and Washington. The Northeast Division will be Minnesota, Portland. Pacific Division will be Golden State, Phoenix, Sacramento. Southeast Division will be Dallas, Houston, Memphis, New Orleans, San Antonio. So again, guys, like I was mentioning earlier, if you want to break it down, I can break it down for you. Kings in the month of December, they have 4, 2 at home, 2 on the road. January, they have 16 games, 9 at home, 7 on the road. In February, they have 15 games, 5 at home, 10 on the road. And in March, they have 2, and they have 1 of each, 1 at home and 1 on the road. I want to break it down by days of the week. They have 6 games on Sunday, 5 on Tuesday, 4 on both Thursday and Saturday, 5 on Monday, 6 on Wednesday, and 7 on Friday. Again, the longest homestand I was referring to will be against the Charlotte Hornets twice, Dallas, and then the Miami Heat. They'll play at home. Then their longest road trip will be Orlando, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Memphis, Washington, and then at Boston. So there you go with that, guys. So that's how the Toronto Raptors are going to break down their season with that. So here's the Orlando Magic, guys. Again, as I mentioned time and time again in previous shows, this was a team that made the playoffs last year as the A seed and lost in 5 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. They won game 1, which again was a shocker to all of us. And I'm still going to say that. But they will open their season, guys, on the 23rd, and that will be against the Miami Heat, the defending Eastern Conference champions, at Amway Center in Orlando. So they will start their home at home. Basically, guys, what from the article that I read about them today, they'll know by the middle of the season what kind of team this team really is. Is it another shot to get back to the playoffs? Is it one of those that is that something that could happen for them again? Could we be back in the could we see Orlando back in the playoffs again? We're going to have to wait and see how that breaks down for them again this year. Now, here is what their schedule looks like as well. Their first half of the season, they, again, a lot of times are going to be playing 2 games back-to-back. So, again, their preseason guys, they're in Atlanta to play the Hawks on Friday, December 11th. By the way, guys, that's 4 days away. That's this Friday coming up. Then the 13th, they play again against the Hawks. And they have 2 home games on the 17th and 19th of December against the Charlotte Hornets. Then the regular season begins as they will play Miami at home. Then they go on the road, the 26th and 27th for back-to-back games against the Washington Wizards. Then they are still on the road to play the Thunder. Then they return home to play the 76ers on New Year's Eve, the 31st. In January, they have a long list of games. Oklahoma City, 2 against the Cavaliers at home. Then they're on the road against the Rockets and the Mavericks, home against the Milwaukee Bucks. Then they're on the road in Boston, Brooklyn, New York, Minnesota, and Indiana to return home to play the Hornets, Kings, and Clippers. And then the Toronto Raptors in Tampa on January 31st. The last day of the month, they will be in Tampa playing the Toronto Raptors. Then they will have a home game on February 2nd at Amway Arena in Orlando. They will play the Raptors there. Then they have 2 games at home against the Bulls, back-to-back days. Then they go on the road to play the Trailblazers, Warriors, Kings, and Suns. Then they come back home to play New York, the Knicks, Golden State, 2 against the Pistons at Brooklyn. Then they welcome in the Utah Jazz to end the month of February. The month of March, they have 2 games. That will be both at home against the Dallas Mavericks, and they will end the season against the Atlanta Hawks on March 3rd. So there you go there, guys, and how their games break down this year. But that is, again, like I said, the article that I read earlier today was talking about them, by the middle of the season, we will know what type of team the Magic are. We'll have to wait and see how everything breaks down for the Orlando Magic. Hopefully, guys, they can get off of that being on the cusp of being the 8th seed or 7th seed and try to get into the middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference this year. That would be a good change for the Magic and their fans to get out of that last spot, just make it in. Try to not have to worry about teams behind you losing. And again, guys, just like I did before, I will cover scores if they're playing that night. I will give you guys not play by play, but I'll give you scores of what is going on in on the evening. Now I will get to Miami, the Miami Heat. Again, just like everyone else, they were eliminated in the finals on October 11th by the Lakers. So the Lakers and the Heat, guys, have the shortest amount of days to come back. Of course, they were in the bubble in Orlando at the Wildwater Sports Complex at the Walt Disney World from July to October. They were there through the whole time. So just like the Lakers, they have one of the shortest turnarounds coming in. The league announced Wednesday that there were 48 of 546 players who tested for COVID-19 from November 2020. Positive tests for returned positive results. So again, that could be interesting. But the Heat have returned to full practice. Now here is how the Miami Heat schedule will break down coming into the season. Again, they will bring in, as I mentioned earlier, on the road against the Magic. Then against the Pelicans, the Bucks twice. And they go to Dallas. They're home against the Thunder, Celtics. Then they're on the road against the Wizards. Then they are on the road in Boston and in Philadelphia. Actually, they had 2 games in Philly. Then they're home against the Pistons. Then for 2 games, then they go to Tampa to play the Toronto Raptors on the 20th. They have 2 games, the 20th and the 22nd of January. So, guys, that's going to be interesting. You're going to have Toronto playing the Magic and the Heat kind of right about the same time. Then they go to Brooklyn to play the Nets. Then they're home, and they got a long home streak against the Nuggets, Clippers, Kings, Hornets, and Wizards, all at home. They end up a 2-game thing at home. Then they go on the road to play the Knicks. They have a home with them. Then they're at Houston, at Utah. Then they play at the Clippers, at the Warriors, at the Kings, at the Lakers. That game will be interesting. That's on February 20th. So that's a rematch of the NBA Finals will be played right there. They're at Oklahoma versus Toronto again. They'll be back here at home against them, against the Jazz, 2 against the Hawks, at the New Orleans Pelicans. That will be their final game against Zion and company there at the end of the season. Again, a lot of people will probably tell you that this team is primed to go back again, to be right back in the thick of it again amongst the Eastern Conference and be back there again. And I'm one of them, guys. I really think that the Heat have a very good chance of getting back to where they were a year ago, and maybe this time getting over the hump. They're going to need some help. They're going to have to get some free agents and stuff like that to give Jimmy Butler some help. But they're going to get there. They have to get back to that point, and they can do that. I believe that they are a team that can do that. So you could very likely be seeing them again next season in the finals again. We're going to go ahead now, guys, and jump to hockey. And here we are. Here are 3 questions facing the Florida Panthers. Now, first of all, who will fill their scoring void? Forwards, Mike Hoffman, Evgeny Dandinoff, both signed 3. Hoffman is an unrestricted free agent. Dandinoff signed a 3-year contract with the Ottawa Senators on October 15th. And they must now rely again on the big ones, on Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, to produce along with Patrick Hornquist, who they acquired in a trade with the Penguins for defenseman Mark Matheson and forward Colton Scavor back in September. So again, they're going to have to lean a lot on that. Question number 2, guys, is How will Sergei Bobrovsky fare in his second season? Now, again, guys, that was the big signing for Florida, was they got a good goaltender. The problem is, and you can talk to a lot of Florida Panther fans, the problem with it is one thing. Their defense was horrible, was absolutely horrible. And, once again, you had those issues, and I don't care if you have Marty Brodeur or one of the great goaltenders of all time sitting back there. If your defense lets a lot of holes, it's not gonna pair very well, and that's what we learned last year with the Panthers. Bobrovsky did agree to a 7-year deal back in 2019. He had a 3.23 goals against average, which is the highest of his 10 NHL seasons. He had a 900 save percentage, which is his second lowest. He had an 899 from the 2011-2012 season. He is a two-time Vezina Trophy winner as the best goalie in the NHL in 2013 and 2017. Of course, Joe Quenneville and company are hoping he returns to that kind of glory. But as of right now, they're going to have to shore up that defense if that's going to happen. Because if they do not shore up the defense, they're going to have issues. And once again, they're going to be wherever they were last year, fighting for a playoff spot. They got into the playoffs a year ago and got knocked out by the New York Islanders, who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, who were eliminated by the Tampa Bay Lightning, who went on to win the Stanley Cup. Now, can Alexander Wennberg bounce back? Wennberg did agree to a 1-year contract just 2 months ago on October 9th. He was placed on waivers by the Blue Jackets for the purpose of buying out the final seasons of his 6-year contract he signed with Columbus back in 2017. He had 22 points a year ago, 5 goals, 17 assists, in 56 regular season games, and 5 points. 3 goals, 2 assists in 10 post-game seasons. His points have declined each season since he scored an NHL career high 59, where he had 13 goals and 46 assists in 80 games in 2016-2017. So those are that's how it all came down, guys, with that. But again, they're going to have to do something along the lines of getting him back into getting that defense shirt up in front of Bobrovsky. They're going to have to score goals because, again, at the end of the day, you can stop them, but you got to score them too. Now, again, the Miami Marlins made a big splash by hiring the first Asian American female general manager. Well, the Panthers also made some history by hiring the first black assistant general manager, and Brett Peterson. He has been named the manager. He is the assistant GM for the Florida Panthers. So he will be at their AHL level. So congratulations to Mr. Peterson on becoming part of the team in Florida. That is very, very good. Now, again, he's going to be one of those things moving forward. It's going to be hard. Going to have to help make some moves to get this Panther franchise to be back into it again. Being a hockey fan, in Florida, the two teams that play here, other than when they play each other during the season, don't really have a rivalry with each other because we don't play each other in the playoffs. The Panthers and Lightning have never met in the postseason. So it is what it is, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So Florida's got some work to do. Can they get there? Absolutely. They can be right there if they make the right moves, get the right guys in there. Yes, they could be in the thick of it again, pushing for a playoff spot. Now, here's how we break it down, guys, because now we're at the Tampa Bay Lightning. And as we all know, guys, we all know this right now. We all know right now that we all know they have to make some moves for cap space. That just plain and simple. Now, who's out there that can take on some of these contracts? Now, again, if you guys are not here, the Lightning did re-sign defenseman Miguel Sergachev. The biggest, they still have 2 unrestricted free agents still left to sign, in Anthony Cirelli and Eric Chernak. So, to do that, guys, they're going to have to make some moves. We may end up seeing some of the faces that we love in the names of Alex Killorn. Wow, and I just lost my train of thought here. Alex Killorn, Tyler Johnson, and even Yanni Gourde could be some of those guys that ends up being moved to get some cap space freed up, to open it up to get Chernak and Sorelli to come back enough to sign both of these guys. So again, the Detroit Red Wings, our former general manager and Steve Yzerman is now their general manager. So again, could that be fit for a big? And again, the Red Wings are in a rebuild. We all know that. If you're a Detroit Red Wings fan, you know that the franchise is in a rebuilding era. Is it time for them maybe to do something like that? Maybe it's time for the Red Wings again. They're to absorb the remaining years on Killorn Johnson's contract with close to $7 million in cap space. Again, with the offseason of Valtteri Filppula and Darren Helm. This all means Brisebois is willing to give up futures. There is the potential to clear close to $10 million in cap space. A move of this caliber, however, might cost the Lightning more than they want to pay to shed what still are good players. So again, you still have Cal Foote, Alexander Volkov, and even Chernak as potential trade sweeteners to make a move on a caliber to happen. New Jersey's another one that could add veteran talent that's for cheap. There could be an Alex Killorn type situation. And oh, by the way, the team that plays in Sunrise could also be another one that could be a trade partner with the Lightning, and that is the Florida Panthers. I have heard rumors, guys, that there's possibly a chance that you could see Alex Killorn, Tyler Johnson, Yanni Gourde playing in a Panther uniform next season to clear some cap space to bring these guys back. So again, Julian Brisebois has got to make some moves to get these guys back to run over the cap moving forward. So it's going to be one of those things, guys, where we'll have to just sit back and wait and see what happens. The Lightning did hire a new assistant coach in Rob Zettler. He is now the new assistant coach. He will join, of course, the head coach, John Cooper. He does bring extensive coaching experience to the Lightning. He is best remembered as our in-your-face defenseman that played nearly 600 NHL games for several different organizations. He has been an assistant coach for the Sharks and Maple Leafs previously. He was the head coach of the Syracuse Crunch as recently as 2016. The Crunch, of course, is in the AHL affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and where Cooper cut his teeth before taking over the Lightning. Zettler took over as the head coach for the Crunch after Cooper then later was promoted to the job during the 2012-13 season. That's when Cooper came up. He was bumped up, and they went on to win the Calder Cup finals under Zettler, eventually losing despite the efforts of a young Andre Palat and a Tyler Johnson. So those names, guys, have come up, but again, they have a new assistant coach. The Lightning lost one of their assistant coaches, and I think he took over as a head coach somewhere else. But they needed to bring in a new assistant coach. So obviously, when you bring in an assistant coach, you got to be comfortable with what John Cooper wants to do. And being that Zettler was under Cooper for the Crunch, there should be no really big transformation. They should be very comfortable on both fronts for both of them. Now we'll go, guys, and we'll jump to baseball. Yes, baseball. Jose Urena, letting go of him would be a very smart move for the Miami Marlins. Now, here's how it goes. The Marlins, for 12 years, 6 of which are in the majors, Urena has played different roles. His best was coming just 3 years ago in 2017, as he's shown primarily as a starter. But this week he was officially let go by the Marlins and is now a free agent after the front office decided not to tender his contract, putting him at the end of his Marlins tenure. So again, he is projected to make something around $4 million in 2021, which is based on how the Marlins have been spending lately. could be enough to bring aboard at least 2 low-cost, effective relievers. As Wynn said a few days ago, she's focused on adding weapons to the pen. Remember, I mentioned her earlier. So again, here's how his 2020 stats went. He was 0-3 with a 5.40 ERA. He had 5 games, started 5 games, 23-1 innings pitched, 22 hits, 15 runs, 14 earned, 4 homers, 13 walks, 15 strikeouts. Not a very good, really good record for a relief pitcher. So again, that will be something that will be something that, again, when you have a young and a new general manager in Wii, it's going to be interesting to see how she handles this. And speaking of that, this will be the first time that the winter meetings for MLB are going to be teleconference because, again, COVID has changed everything. Usually these meetings are in person, but because of the 19 pandemic, all 3 clubs have agreed to do it virtually. So, again, winter meetings will be done virtually. So it's going to be a little bit interesting this year. Normally, this is when you go down and you meet general managers, you make some trades, you get some talks started to get players moved over. So again, the Marlins said that they will be in touch with all 29 teams that will host agents and continue to do their off-season needs. The Marlins do need to upgrade their bullpen, whether that's through free agency or trades. So they need to add a veteran bat to help improve the offense as well. So again, there we go with that. Is this time? That's what they need. They're going to have to do it, guys, all by virtually. Because again, like I said, they have, they again with COVID, everything has changed with the COVID pandemic. So again, that's interesting on that front. But we'll have to wait and see how the trades go down and everything else like that. The Tampa Bay Rays. Now we'll move on to the Rays. And again, they did win the American League this year. They were the American League champions. Were in the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Blake Snell does not want to leave the Rays. This is by Mark Topkin, Tampa Bay Times. He signed a 5-year, $50 million contract back in 2019. There was a good chance he had been dealt at some point during his contract. No shot, he said, though. Now, they have lost Charlie Morton to Atlanta after declining his $15 million as well. So Snell says he's not looking too deeply in the trade scenario since it's out of his control. And actually it is. He admits that getting dealt wherever it happens is going to suck because of the relationships he's built with his teammates and coaches here in Tampa, including manager of the year in the American League, Kevin Cash. Again, the whole thing with what happened in Game 6 of the World Series where one Kevin Cash removed Blake Snell out of the game, and the Dodgers went on to win the World Series. But then, with that in mind, it doesn't seem like he wants to leave. You still have Tyra Glasnow and Ryan Yarborough as well as what could be the 3. Guys, if you do not know, the Rays were one of the first teams to do the reliever where they start their relief pitchers in the first inning and then move through the bullpen and use the bullpen throughout the day to, stuff like that. So he has won a Cy Young. He will turn 28 this Friday, guys. He has 3 years at $39 million, which is extremely high, and he would generate considerable interest. I have seen teams out there in trade. It looks like shaving $10.5 million off the Rays' 2021 payroll, as they like others deal with the pandemic-driven revenue losses, would be legitimate benefit to the team if they will trade center fielder Kevin Kiermaier, who's due $11.5 million in 2021, $12 million in 2022, and has a 2023 option. So again, guys, very likely you could see both Snell and Kevin Kiermaier both be gone to kind of shed talent because, as we know, as Rays fans know, guys, it comes down to the ownership not really wanting to up the payroll. He doesn't want to help up the payroll. He wants to be the cheapest he can be. And, that's the way it is, guys. And unfortunately, what's going to end up happening, and I hate to say this, but this was talked about, that they want to play half the games in Montreal, half the games here. This team is going to go to any city that's going to offer them a big stadium, new stadium with a lot of money. And that's the way it is. I've heard Charlotte. I've had many people on Facebook say that they should go to Charlotte to play there. Hey, you know what else? Big city's knocking on the door that wants a baseball team. How about Las Vegas? They got a football team, got a hockey team. Baseball would be next. And don't be surprised if there's nothing. So if anyone out there is a Rays fan, they need to get before the lease in 2024, as we turn the roster here to 2021. That's only 3 years away, guys. You count. Someone in the area needs to step up and buy the team away from the current regime to keep the Rays here. Because if not, I think that team is going to be dealt somewhere else, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong, and I hope that I am wrong. I really do. I hope that I am wrong. Now, the Rays did, again, offer a lot of eligible players non-tenure deals, as most teams do at this time. Wander Franco, go down the list. There were a whole bunch of them, guys. Everyone that was due arbitration, G-Man Choi, just to name a few, were out. We're all offered those contracts. We will have to wait and see which of those guys accepted or which guys end up going to arbitration to get more money out of the Rays. We'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down. But again, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And thank you again, guys, to that lovely staff that was on here just a mere few weeks ago. I had the owner and his staff on here. It was very, very awesome to have them on here. And as I told Mr. Ralph Garcia, who is my boss at the network, they are welcome back here anytime. If they have any updates, I will open my show to them, come on for 10 minutes or however long they need to be on here, and we will sit here and kind of bring them up on any of the new stuff that's going on with the app. I have the app on my phone, by the way, guys. They are paying the bills at NGSC, so their app is on my phone. And I was told, if you guys did not see it live here, I'm going to say this, that when they get down here to these venues, that I have a free purchase coming my way. So that's pretty awesome. And in that retrospect, moving forward. But we'll go ahead, guys, now and jump to my favorite sport, which is on right now, and that is football. I'll start, guys, with the pro level in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here are 5 observations from the overtime loss to the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. So here are 5 things that came up in this interesting thing. Let's see. We have Colin Johnson impressed again is one of them. Has seized a new opportunity. For all of those mistakes former general manager David Caldwell made, you have to give him credit when it comes to drafting wide receivers other than a whiff on Marquise Lee in 2014. Caldwell would see quality for receivers via the draft 1 week. So, again, that has helped there as well. Colin Johnson, the new DJ Chark, who is one of those wide receivers, had a great game yesterday. Joe Schubert has found his footing on defense. We'll have to do, again, the same thing next year. Deion Smoot has played himself into consideration for a new deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Sunday once again showed Jacksonville what the importance of a quality starting quarterback is. Again, Mike Glennon has been the starter so far. And, again, them almost beating the Minnesota Vikings with something else. So, again, Mike Glennon has been kind of the glue that has held the Jaguars offense. Gardner Minshew was hurt. But again, it's interesting to say the least. You have Colin Johnson is one of those wide receivers. He's not the general manager, guys. So that's the wide receiver. James O'Shaughnessy, Tyler Eifert is those names that helped Mike Glennon out yesterday. And again, Jake Lutton was another one that was a name that was used for the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew, again, right now the Jaguars have 1 win. And I know everyone sitting out there saying, now, wait a second. They're tanking for a pick. Okay. They're going to need the New York Jets to win a game or two if they're going to do that. Because the Jets have no wins, and the Jets should have won yesterday. And again, if you guys did not see that game, go back and watch it on YouTube. Just YouTube highlights between the Raiders and the Jets. You'll see what happened on the last play that cost Greg Williams his job. So, just saying on that. But again, guys, that's what pretty much happened. Yesterday they have lost another game, but this one went to overtime. They are at home against the Tennessee Titans, who got blown out yesterday by Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. That game has a 1 o'clock kickoff this Sunday. I will again be going through the stats for that game this upcoming Monday on this show. And by the way, guys, this show will be featured on all of the Mondays in the month. This show will be on all 5 of the Mondays this month, so I will be on the air 4 Mondays of the month. My Thursday show, let me see, is there 5 Mondays? There's only 4 Mondays. I'm sorry, guys. There's 4 Mondays. All 4 Mondays will be here. My Thursday show, I have 2 shows remaining for the month, and then I am going to take a break until January 7th. Both Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, the guys will be unavailable, and I will also myself. So anyone that is a fan of this show on the Walker Report has 2 remaining episodes in 2020, and then we will call it quits until 2021. And January 7th will be our first show in 2021. Let's jump on, guys. Now we'll go to the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins were at home yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals, and there was 3 players ejected after a late hit on a punt caused it. And Brian Flores, if you guys did not see the highlights in that game, came out onto the field, and he was livid. I mean, he had to be held back by a Bengals player. Not even his own guys were holding him back. A Bengals player held him back. Bengals safety Sean Williams and Dolphins wide receivers Devontae Parker and Mark Collins were ejected for their roles in the brawl, which started after Bengals wide receiver Mike Thomas conducted a late hit on Dolphins punt returner Jakeem Grant. If I'm not mistaken, Thomas had done that twice, but he was not ejected from the game. The announcer said earlier that he had done that a second time earlier in the game. The benches did clear, and like I said, Brian Flores did come out and stake his claim that he was not happy. Hollins received an illegal blindside penalty that offset Thomas's penalty. In addition, 3 disqualifications. William Jackson received an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in Cincinnati. The brawl came after 2 other players, Miami cornerback Xavier Howard and Cincinnati wide receiver Tyler Boyd, were ejected for a previous altercation. So, again, that was the ugly part of it, but there was some magic. 2 already achieved these historical feats for the Miami Dolphins. Not only has he gotten them to a 4-1 record with the biggest assist to Miami's defense and special teams, Tagovailoa and Dolphins legend quarterback Dan Marino have 2 things in common. Their first 5 starts are at a 4-1 record, and much higher than average NFL passer ratings. Marino, in his first 5 starts as a Dolphins rookie in 1983, had 105.6 passer rating. Tua is his 99.4 after 5 starts. Marino had 12 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions in those 5 starts. Tua has 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The 2 Dolphins quarterbacks threw for nearly identical completions. Marino threw for more yards. In his first 5 starts, Marino was 87 for 144 for 1,177 yards. Tua is 86 for 136 for 898 yards. The 4-1 record puts them in rare company. So again, that's interesting to say the least. Tua, Marino, Roethlisberger, Prescott are the only rookies to go 4-1 with a quarterback rating of 95 or better in their first 5 starts. So there you go, right there. So Tua's getting some impressive company with that as the season starts, as they won yesterday over the Dolphins, or excuse me, over the Bengals. I apologize. Now, they will welcome in the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes at 1 o'clock this upcoming Sunday. That's going to be an interesting feat for the Miami Dolphins. I'm just going to say that to you right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do. In all reality, how that's going to go for them. Because now the Chiefs and the Steelers are now tied with the same record in the AFC. So we should see how that is going to be. Now we will shift our attention to the local team for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have 4 games left. Their final 4 games, 2 against the Falcons, 1 against the Vikings, which is this upcoming Sunday, and then against the Lions. Now, the Bucs are expected to make a run to the playoffs for the first time since 2007, 13 years ago. They're currently the number 6 seed in the NFC playoff standing with a 7-5 record. If the playoffs begin today, Tampa Bay would face the number 3 Los Angeles Rams out west. They've already played the Rams this year, guys, and it did not go very well. Now, the Bucs are coming off of a bye week, and they will face the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings did win 27-24 yesterday over the Jaguars in Jacksonville. So, a loss on Sunday would make the 2 teams even at 7 wins, with Minnesota then owning the tiebreaker. If it's a winner-take-all type of situation in terms of their head-to-head race for the postseason, a win would move the Bucs to an 8-5 record and keep their playoff hopes alive with a number 6 seed. Tampa has the Falcons on the road in Week 15, then back home in Week 17 with a trip to the Detroit to face the Lions in between. Those 2 teams combined at a record of 9-15 at the previous moment. So right now, guys, in all reality, the Bucs could very, very likely win their remaining 4 games and finish the season at 11-5. I can see that happening. Very, very likely. If they can come back, if they can get the offense back on track, because it has not been on track for the last 3 weeks, they've got to get back on track. And speaking of that, guys, I'm sure you guys know who Pat McAfee is. He believes that this is the last season you will see Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. Again, that is what's going on right now. It is just one of those things where could this be a one and done for them? One of the major reasons that Tom Brady signed here was because of Bruce Arians, but it has not fared well here in the first season. We all knew there was going to be some struggles for Tom, who's in the same offense for 20 years. But he says most likely, and I have heard rumors as well, that if Arians gets through the season, it will likely it could be the end of the season. And he could either A, retire, walk away, or B, they may say if they miss the playoffs, say the Bucs lose their final 4 games and they go 7-9, then Bruce Arians may get the boot, and they're talking about the rumors of Josh McDaniels, who is currently the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, to come here to be Tom's coach. Because, again, Tom is very familiar with Josh, who's been there for the majority of the years in New England. So could that happen? Who knows what Bruce may not. They may go 11-5 and go into the playoffs and win round 1 or be beaten in round 1. Who knows, what's the writing on the wall there. Again, guys, they will be at home against the Vikings. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. So the Jaguars, Dolphins, and Buccaneers all kick off at 1 o'clock on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. So all 3 teams kick off at 1 o'clock. So we'll see how the Brady Arians relationship is will be good for the final 4 games and possibly the playoffs, or will fizzle away and we may have a new coaching regime next year. We'll go ahead, guys, to college football. And the Miami Hurricanes did get a shutout win over the Duke Blue Devils over the weekend. But their quarterback, De'Ara King, announced he was among the Hurricanes to contract COVID-19. They did win 48-0 on Saturday night, but he was one of the players who contracted the pandemic. So there you go there. Before the game, Miami played Virginia Tech on November 14th, a game that was on the brink of being canceled as the Hurricanes dealt with opening stage coronavirus outbreak by Monday. 15 players were unavailable, but they, again, guys, still were able to play the game. And, again, they did win 48-0. But this week, guys, they did not budge in the AP poll, but the coaches poll showed Miami some love. Again, currently right now, the Hurricanes are 8-1 overall, 7-1 in the conference, with the only loss coming to the Clemson Tigers. They are number 9 in the AP poll and 8 in the coaches poll this week. So they're moving up, and this week they will face off against the number 17 North Carolina Tar Heels, but they're at home. North Carolina comes into the game 7-3 overall, 6-3 in the conference. And they will meet Georgia Tech, who is 3-6 and 3-5. The regular season finale on December 19th, also at home. So they have 2 remaining home games. The Hurricanes have 2 remaining home games in football. But I'll go ahead, guys, and jump to their last basketball game, which took place 3 days ago, and that would be against the Stetson Hatters. And they beat it. The men's team beat them 82-60. Here's how it broke down, guys, for the Miami. I'm not going to give you Stetson stats, guys. I'm just going to give you Miami stats. They were 28 of 64 for 43% from the field, 8 for 23, 34% from the three-point round, 18 for 23, 78% from the free throw line. They had 49 total rebounds. They had 18 assists, 3 blocks, 6 steals, 10 turnovers, and 12 personal fouls. So there you go with that, guys. So they did a very, very good job. Now they will have the challenge of playing Purdue tomorrow at 5 p.m. But again, they may have had some injuries in Chris Likes, who sprained his ankle after scoring 20 points. That doesn't look good there. And of course, COVID is another reason why there'll be some players short. So their coach is hoping to be able to put up a fight against their Purdue coming up tomorrow. The women's team remained undefeated through non-conference play. The Lady Hurricanes moved to 3-0 after beating FAU in Boca Raton 73-61. They did relinquish the lead in the third quarter, but senior guard Kelsey Marshall led the scoring effort with 21 points and 6 rebounds. So that's pretty cool. And she had 5 3-point field goals that belonged to the DV Florida native. So there you go with that, guys. Let me give you the stats on that game. On the game there, they let's see here. They again, the final score, guys, was 73-61 there. And let me give you the Lady Hurricane stats. They were 20 of 56 from field goal. They had 35% field goal percentage, 5 for 23, 21%. That's going to have to get better. They were 28 of 40 from the three-point line, free throws, 70%. They had 49 rebounds, 17 offensive, 32 defensive rebounds, 11 assists, 8 steals, 2 blocks, 23 turnovers, and 19 fouls. No technical fouls. Their next game, guys, will be at home against the Syracuse Orangemen, and that is 3 days away. That'll be Thursday on the 10th of this month. Now we'll go ahead, guys, and focus our attention to Florida State football. Here is there's their depth chart for now. They will face Duke. Miami faced them. Now they will face Duke. They have Jordan Travis at quarterback, Jashawn Corbin, Lawrence Toffot at running back, Keyshawn Helton, Warren Thompson, Ontarius Wilson at wide receiver, Cameron McDonald at tight end, Darius Washington, Dante Lucas, Thomas Schrader, Maurice Smith, Bayan Johnson, and Robert Scott Jr. as their offensive lineman. Then the defense is Joshua Kenyon, Dennis Briggs Jr., Faith Lovett, Robert Cooper as their defensive line, and Jamaris Robinson, Emmett Rice, Stephon Diggs, Amar Ganar, Jaron Jones, Ramar Green, Travis J., Hashan Hinion, and Jarvis Shawnee Jr. are their defensive backfield. Again, they will be playing against the Duke Blue Devils. It has not been a very good year for Coach Norvell and company on the football side. They currently only have 2 wins. They have 2 games at the end of the season against Duke, and then they play on the road against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. So this will be the final home game for Coach Norvell and the Seminoles at Duke this upcoming week against the Duke Blue Devils, who the Miami Hurricanes shut out last week 48-0. So again, we'll see them play Duke this week. So we'll go ahead, guys, and shift our attention to their basketball program. Here's 3 takeaways from their men's team. In 2021, Hamilton will experiment with a lineup and rotations even more than he did and he normally does. So that's one thing that will be changed this year. Quebec, yet another example of impressive individual development for the Noles. One of those guys that has stepped up this year for the Noles. And Florida State's strong infrastructure will provide to be critical to handle disjointed season. So again, we'll have to wait and see. And let's go ahead, guys, and give you their last game. That was against North Florida, and they won 86-58 in that game. Here are the stats for the Seminoles. They went 32 for 70. They were 45% from the field, 7 for 24 from three-point land, 29%. That's not good. 15 of 21 from the foul line. That's 71%. They had 42 rebounds, 17 on the offensive side, 19 assists, 6 blocks, 12 steals, 10 turnovers, and 16 personal fouls. They will now be playing the Indiana Hoosiers on 12-9. Again, that's just a couple days. That'll be a Wednesday game for the Noles. The women's basketball team took down the Florida Gators in their first game by winning 81-75 in Tallahassee. Congratulations to the Lady Noles on beating the Lady Gators there. And let me give you the stats there, guys, on that one. The Noles were 30-65, 46% from field goal percentage, 3 for 15 from three-point land, 20%. That's going to have to get better. They were 18 of 23 from the free throw line. That was a solid 78%. They had 52 rebounds, 17 offensive, 35 defensive rebounds, 11 assists, 4 steals, 6 blocks, 18 turnovers, 17 fouls, and they had the largest lead for them was 11. So, again, they did defeat the Lady Gators there, 81-75. They beat them by 6 points. So that is definitely something they will have to look forward to. Their next game, guys, is against Austin Peay on Sunday. Oh, they've already played that game, December 6th. That was yesterday. I don't know if that game was canceled or what. I didn't get a score for that one. Okay. Well, the Florida Gators will go ahead and move to their football team, and they won 31-19 over the Tennessee Volunteers to clinch the SEC East, which means they will be playing the Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC championship game this year, and they are going to Atlanta. This will be something Florida has hosted season low in points 3 weeks in a row. Trask has thrown 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in that stretch, so that's interesting how that has gone for Kyle Trask, who is making a statement for the Heisman Trophy this year. U.S. defense continues to trend in the right direction. They are starting to look better. They're going to have to get better. They've got one more game left before they play Alabama. And, of course, that would be against LSU this upcoming Saturday. And oh, by the way, that will be a night game in Death Valley. But again, the Gators are going to the SEC championship game. And guys, as a Gator fan, I am excited to see them back against Alabama. We'll see what kind of game that is going to be in Atlanta. Again, it will be a 7 o'clock kickoff. I'm sorry, it will be in Gainesville. It'll be in the Swamp. I'm sorry, I thought it was in Baton Rouge. My fault, guys. It'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff this Saturday as they host the LSU Tigers, who are the defending national champions but are struggling very, very badly. In fact, Alabama rolled them this past Saturday, so that is going to be interesting to say the least. But yeah, that we'll have to wait and see what they do against the Tigers being at home on a night game. So that'll be interesting to see. Yours truly will be watching that game. As we roll to basketball, the game happened yesterday. It was a blowout win for the Gators over the Stetson Hatters, 86-40. They beat Boston College last Thursday. I was watching the game during my Walker Report show. 86-40. The Gators 28 of 62 field goal, 45%, 9 for 23 from the three-point land, 39%, 21 of 24 from the foul line, 87%. That is awesome. 44 rebounds, 14 offenses, 17 assists, 6 blocks, 8 steals, 11 turnovers, and 24 personal fouls for the Gators. Guess what? They get the Seminoles this Saturday coming up against the Noles. The Florida Gator women's basketball team knocked off the Cincinnati Bearcats. They are 3-1, defeated the Bearcats 81-58 Saturday afternoon in the Stephen C. O'Connell Center at the University of Florida. So congratulations to them as well. And let me give you guys, they will be up the stats for that game. Again, they won 81-58. The Lady Gators were 29-67 from the field, 43%. 7 for 20 from the three-point line, 35%. 16 of 21, 76%. Rebounds, they had 33, 10 offensive, 23 defensive, 9 assists, 15 steals, 1 block, 10 turnovers, 14 fouls. Their largest lead of the game was 24. They will now shift their attention tonight. They are playing Florida Atlantic currently at home. So let me go ahead, guys, and hop over there real quick since the game is going on right now. Let's see if I can get you an updated score on what is going on with right now with that. Let's see if the game is over. Let's see here. Let's click to this and let's see what we have here. See if the score is going. Let's see here, guys, real quick. Bear with me here. Here. The game is an 84-68 lead right now for the Gators with 1:34 left in the fourth quarter. So it looks like the Lady Gators are going to improve to 4-1 on the season with their win tonight. Now we'll get guys and shift to UCF. The football team has accepted an invite to the Boca Raton Bowl, which will be at roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl on December 22nd at FAU Stadium. The game kicks off at 7 p.m. and will be aired on ESPN. This will be the first time the Knights have played in a game and the 5th consecutive season that the program has appeared in a bowl game. So here we are again. They will face an ECC team in that bowl. Requirements due to the coronavirus pandemic. So they will be playing in the Boca Raton Bowl. They did accept the invitation. So the UCF Golden Knights are staying in the state of Florida. They're not leaving the state of Florida. And again, they will be, which means 6,000 fans will be admitted and the 30,000 fans at FAU Stadium. Let's go ahead, guys, and shift to basketball. They did lose yesterday, the men's team, to Michigan by a final score of 88-58. UCF is 1-1 currently on the year. So that was not a very good, tough. That's tough, guys. Michigan's a very good basketball team. Again, it was 80-58. Here's the stats for the Knights: 21 of 60 field goals, 35%, 5 for 16 from three-point land, 31%. They were 11 for 11 from the foul line. That's 100%. 29 total rebounds, 9 offensive, 9 assists, 3 blocks, 5 steals, 9 turnovers, and they had 14 fouls in the loss to the Wolverines. Their next game, guys, is tomorrow against Houston, and that's a conference game for UCF. So USF, guys, there's no football news. I don't have any new news. That team is not going to a bowl game. And I don't think Florida State will be going to a bowl game either, but I have a good feeling if the Gators beat Alabama, they'll be in the college football playoff. If they don't, they'll be in a major bowl game. And Miami will also be in a bowl game as well. So I'll have Miami, UCF, and the Gators to cover after the regular season ends. But again, like I said, I'm hoping the Gators get past Alabama. So USF, it's just basketball, guys. The last men's team won 76-57 to improve to 2-2 on the season over the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. They were 32-65 from the field, 49%, 7 for 18 from three-point land, 38%, 5 for 13 from the free throw line, 38%, 45 rebounds, 15 offensive, 14 assists, 5 blocks, 7 steals, 11 turnovers, and 13 personal fouls. They will play the Stetson Hatters tomorrow, who have been beat down handedly by both Florida State and Florida. So we'll have to wait and see what USF does tomorrow. The Lady Bulls pulled off a huge upset over the number 6 ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs yesterday to improve to 2-1. 67-63 was the final. They were 23 of 73, 31% field goal, 6 for 30 from the three-point line, 20%, 15 of 21 from the free throw line, 71% there, 47 rebounds, 23 offensive, 15 assists, 3 blocks, 9 steals, 12 turnovers, and 24 personal fouls. That was a huge upset for the Lady Bulls. This is the first time that they had a victory over a top 10 team in their history. So congratulations to Coach Fernandez, and they did it at home in the Yingling Center. So how cool is that they did it at home? So congratulations to the Lady Bulls and Coach Fernandez on getting that huge win over the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Unbelievable. That is such a great thing. And they also will play the Stetson Hatters on December 13th. Coming up this weekend. So, guys, with that in mind, that is all I have for you guys this evening. That is my show for this evening. And again, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, guys, is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And as always, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is part of NGSC Sports. Remember, the website is ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Guys, thank you again for letting me talk to you guys for just over an hour on Monday nights. I will be back on Bullseye tomorrow night with Larry Frank, part of Frankly Speaking Sports Network. I will be over there talking USF. We'll be going into more detail about the basketball teams tomorrow night. I will probably have a great guest. I wanted to thank Tony Greer personally for sending me his book and autographing it for me. I got the book today. I'm looking forward to breaking down and reading it. Also, guys, as I say, if this is just me talking your ear off for over an hour just to kind of get you away from all the stuff that's going on, whether you're having a good 2020 or a terrible 2020, it makes me feel good that you guys can stop in here and listen to me talk about Florida sports for the time that I get to be on here. But, guys, before I go, I want to thank the first responders, doctors and nurses, and essential workers. You guys are the true heroes of the pandemic that has started here in my state since March, but all throughout the world since earlier this year. You guys are the real heroes, and I hope you guys get everything that you need coming up. I think they're the first ones that are going through the vaccine. Also, to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifice. I wouldn't be able to talk to this microphone in front of me 3 days a week if it was not for doing what you have done. And today, guys, celebrates Pearl Harbor. If you guys do not know what that day is, it's the day that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, which put the United States in World War II, which ended with us bombing Okinawa and Nagasaki with atom bombs at the time, which again, the bombs have made a lot more, advances through the years, but that's what happened today on this day. Also, guys, to our domestic soldiers, our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you for keeping us safe domestically and everything else. With that in mind, guys, this has been the Sports Serve Brad Walker. I love all of you guys. Thank you for coming in here. Be back on Bullseye tomorrow night. And if you love me, head on over my three-man team on Thursday night on the Walker Report. I'll be over there talking about sports over there as well. But until then, guys, everyone, please stay safe out there. If there's any holidays you're celebrating, continue to celebrate them. But be safe. Wear your mask. Continue to do what you need to do to kind of keep the pandemic numbers from going really through the roof. And other than that, guys, thank you again. And until next Monday here on the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, peace.